Before this trip, if you asked most people outside Africa to describe the continent, they would give you the same answer: poverty, war, struggle. That's the story the world had been telling about Africa for decades. In textbooks, in news broadcasts, in charity adverts, the same images, over and over, until one 21-year-old from Cincinnati turned on a camera, and 50 million people started to watch.
What? Nasa pa? Sepa? Na Angola?
28 days, 20 countries, 50 million people watching. This is the story of what one man accidentally started, and why the world will never quite see Africa the same way again. December 29th, 2025, Angola, Day 1. IShowSpeed lands on the African continent for the first time in his life. He has never been here before. He does not speak the language. He does not know a single person. Within hours, his bodyguard is clinging to the outside of a moving car, just to keep up with the crowd. 80,000 people watching live on Day 1, before anything had even happened. Think about that. Day 1. No events planned, no stadium booked, just a 21-year-old who said he was coming. And 80,000 people showed up anyway. Then he gets on a football pitch against nearly 100 children simultaneously.
Good job. Space.
Y'all all lost! Y'all all lost!
One man, 100 kids, no script, no choreography, and a drone shot that broke the internet before lunchtime. From Angola, Speed heads to Cape Town. His first instinct upon seeing the Atlantic Ocean is to go shark diving and bark at the sharks. "300,000 people watching live as this man barks at a shark. And then, 2 days later, he does this. A cheetah scratched his leg before the race even started. He dusted himself off and lined up anyway. He said afterwards, "I didn't even scream. I'm an animal person. You always just got to be calm." The cheetah won, obviously, but the internet didn't care about the result. They cared that he showed up. Next, Botswana, where Speed challenges the reigning Olympic 200-meter champion to a race. Chaos, then a real human moment, every single time. And that was the pattern that was about to define the next 28 days. But the chaos was just the surface, because what happened in Ethiopia, in a science museum of all places, was the moment this tour stopped being entertainment and started being something else entirely. Here's the thing about IShowSpeed that his critics always missed. Underneath the screaming, underneath the chaos, underneath the stunts, there was a genuinely curious person. A person who, for the first time in his life, was somewhere that his fame couldn't prepare him for, somewhere that was going to make him actually think. It started in Ethiopia, the Science Museum in Addis Ababa, and Speed, who his audience fully expected to sprint past the exhibits without reading a single sign, goes quiet.
It was made by the Ethiopian Artificial Intelligence Institute.
Does it toll?
Robots, artificial intelligence, in Ethiopia. The expression on his face is not a performance. It is not content. It is a real human being genuinely reconsidering something they thought they knew. A 16-year-old viewer in Canada watching that stream later said, People generally have a narrow-minded view of Africa as a third-world continent with no technology. Watching Speed made Africa feel more lively and showed me the vibrant culture these countries have. That was one viewer. But that same recalibration was happening in millions of people simultaneously. And then a local guide told him something that broke his brain completely.
The origin of humankind, so you're Ethiopian too.
So I'm Ethiopian?
Yes. And interesting part, you just became 8 years younger. You just time traveled back in time. You're now 8 years younger. You're 21, right? 2021?
20.
20.
How?
Because we are in 2018, our calendar.
What?
Yeah, this is a very unique country.
2018?
2018.
In Ethiopia, he is 13 years old. He has his whole career ahead of him. That clip alone got tens of millions of views, and every single share of it was also a share of Ethiopia. That is the thing nobody in the traditional media world had figured out. You don't need a documentary crew. You don't need a National Geographic budget. You need one genuinely surprised person and a live audience watching them discover something for the first time. In Kenya, Speed crosses 48 million subscribers. Not in a studio, not at a press event, in a helicopter, flying over Nairobi. That is Nairobi. That is Africa. And 48 million people just saw it for the first time. But none of what you have seen so far, not the chaos, not the robots, not that helicopter over Nairobi, none of it prepared him for what was waiting in Senegal. And nothing in this documentary will stay with you the way the next 2 minutes will. There is a small island off the coast of Senegal called Gorée. It takes 10 minutes to reach by boat from Dakar. It is quiet, it is small, and it holds one of the most significant buildings in the story of the African diaspora, the House of Slaves.
When you get out, meaning Baba Africa forever.
The door of no return. What does that mean? Where did the tour guide go?
For centuries, this building was a transit point for the Atlantic slave trade. Enslaved men, women, and children were held in tiny cells inside its walls, shackled, separated from their families, waiting. And when the time came, they were walked through a doorway that opened directly to the ocean, and to a ship, and to a life that no longer belonged to them. That doorway has a name, the door of no return. IShowSpeed stood at that doorway, and for one of the very few times in 28 days, he was completely quiet. A Senegalese official standing beside him said, "Americans, especially Black Americans, need to know that our histories are tied, that many of our ancestors might have been deported from Gorée." 300,000 people watched that moment in silence alongside him. Not because a producer told them to, not because an algorithm served it to them, because something true was happening on screen, and they felt it. And whatever that moment meant to each of those 300,000 people, it was real, and no algorithm planned it. After Gorée, Speed wasn't the same person who had landed in Angola 3 weeks earlier, and neither was his audience, which made what came next carry a weight it could never have had on day one. Nigeria, Lagos, January 21st, 2026, Speed's 21st birthday, and live on stream in front of millions of people across the continent. His subscriber count rolls over 50 million.
Let's go! Let's go! 50 million on my birthday, chat. I love y'all so much. I love all my fans from the bottom of my heart. I'm so happy, chat. We finally reached 50 million. On my birthday, I reached 50 million. There's no other birthday gift I can ask for better than this, bro. I hit 50 million in Nigeria.
50 million on his birthday, in a country he had never visited 22 days earlier, standing in a continent that had claimed him as its own. Then Morocco, the Africa Cup of Nations final, and Speed, in a full AFCON mascot costume, performing backflips in front of 60,000 people who have absolutely no idea who is inside the suit. And then, 418,300 people watching live, the 10th most watched stream of his entire career. At a football match, in Morocco, inside a mascot costume, and then Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza, IShowSpeed becomes the first content creator in history to live stream from inside one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
Let's go. Follow me, chat. Oh my gosh, how we're in it.
Yes, it's a new entrance.
Chat, this is insane, man. We really live inside the pyramid, bro.
Not a news crew, not a documentary team with permits and protocols. A 21-year-old, a camera, and 50 million people watching on their phones, inside a structure built 4,500 years ago. But here is what nobody who watched the chaos, the robots, the pyramids, and the silence at Gorée Island actually knew yet. The trip was never really about Africa at all. It was about one question Speed had been carrying his entire life, and the final stop was about to answer it. The final stop, Ghana. The country that Speed's DNA ancestry had already identified as the origin of his West African heritage. He knew before he arrived, and when he stepped off the plane,
I'm back home, bro.
in Ghana, a traditional chief gave him a Ghanaian name, Barima Kofi Akufo. The Shea Butter Museum, where he stopped for a massage, was fully booked for 6 weeks after his visit. 6 weeks, because IShowSpeed walked through the door. The Kenya Tourism Board reported a measurable spike in online searches for Nairobi tourism in the weeks following his helicopter stream. African tourism boards began openly discussing influencer-led campaigns as a direct result of what his tour demonstrated. He made people curious about a continent the world had been taught to pity. After the tour ended, Ghana granted IShowSpeed citizenship. The kid from Cincinnati now has a home in West Africa. 118 hours of streams, 20 countries, 16 million total hours of watch time, and one quote, said in Botswana, halfway through a trip that was changing him in real time, said by the most watched creator on the planet. To 50 million people watching in real time. No travel show said it, no news segment said it, no documentary team with a 6-figure budget said it. A kid from Cincinnati said it, because Africa showed him, and through him showed the world, something it had been waiting a very long time for someone to see. One kid, one camera, 28 days. The world's view of Africa will never quite be the same. If this video moved you, share it. Subscribe to Celebrity Vibes. I'll see you in the next one.